إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستنصره ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله سبحانه وتعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا فأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة الحق شهادة تطهر قلوبنا من الفسق والعصيان والنفاق والكفر وشهادة تنجي قائلها من عذاب أليم وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا وقدوتنا في الأمور كلها محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه الذي أرسله رحمة للعالمين ليخرج الناس جميعًا من ظلمات الكفر والضلال إلى نور الإيمان والهدى فاللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وكل من تبع هداه واستمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد فيا عباد الله رحمكم الله أوصيكم ونفسي بالتقوى فقال عز وجل في كتابه الجليل يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون ثم قال يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا ثم نبينا المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم قائل اتق الله حيثما كنت وأتبع السيئة الحسنة تمحها وخالق الناس بخلق حسن معاشر المسلمين, my dear respective brothers and sisters, as always we begin by turning our faces to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, humbling ourselves, acknowledging His greatness and the greatness of His blessings and bounties and favors upon all of us. Allah is compassionate, Rahman, merciful, Rahim, loving, Al-Wadud. He loves us beyond that we imagine, because our imagination of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's love is limited by our own understanding. When we are not as rich as others, we feel that we are not loved by Allah. If we are not popular as others, we feel that we are not being beloved to Allah. And that is because of our own limitations in understanding of many things, including the concept of love itself. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's love has no limit to all of us. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Always Allah begin His surah in the Quran, except surah number 9, Surah Tawbah, Bismillahir Rahman Ar-Rahim. The first surah after praising Allah, or even Bismillahir Rahman Ar-Rahim. Brothers and sisters, among the manifestations of Allah's love, the reality that Allah loves us, that Allah is guiding us. And take this word guidance seriously, because this guidance, brothers and sisters, we say it every day at least 17 times, Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, oh Allah guide us. But oftentimes we fail to understand the meaning of it. In fact, Muslims living in America is a blessing, because by living in the midst of this type of society, we can easily identify the meaning of guidance in our life. Living in Bangladesh or Pakistan or anywhere else, in the majority Muslim country, you see all Muslims are moving around. Muslims are coming to the masajid. Azan is heard everywhere. People are shouting Allahu Akbar almost every time. But here in America, as we are watching people are living their lives, we see it reminds us to come back to ourselves and ponder for a moment, thinking for a moment, how greatness of Allah on us in a form of hidayat. That alhamdulillah, we feel that. Now what does it mean hidayah, brothers and sisters? Guidance. Guidance is centered around the word ma'rifat. Ma'rifah. And the word ma'rifah can be translated simply or simplistic way by saying knowledge. But knowledge is sometimes understood as just information. Someone knows my name, or he has knowledge about me, but he doesn't have ma'rifat about me. So ma'rifat is different than just knowledge. So guidance centers around ma'rifat. And this ma'rifat, at least, I mentioned 3 aspects of it. Number 1, and the most essential one, is about ma'rifatul khaliq, ma'rifatullah azza wa jal. The knowledge of our Creator. Knowing who is our Creator. Why it is so important and the most important? Because no one of us can understand himself and understand anything else with haqiqat, with reality, without understanding the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now people pretend to be so smart, knowledgeable. They understand science, they go to the moon. That's knowledge. No one will be able to understand anything with reality, with haqiqat, without understanding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why among the meaning of وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, among the most essential meaning of ibadah is to لِيَعْبُدُونَ لِيَعْلَمُونَ لِيَعْرِفُونَ, to know me, and that is ma'rifah. So the first one that we need to strive and struggle is to understand and to know, to have ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And coming back again, the word ma'rifah is not only intellectual ma'rifah, it's not only knowing Him by our intellectuality, by our akal, brain. Because if it's the case, I'm sorry to mention a name, possibly some of those non-Muslim who wrote about Islam, and sometimes they wrote about Islam even more beautiful than some Muslims, by some Muslims, until Karen Armstrongs. There are a professor here, I don't want to mention a name, in George Washington University, wrote a lot of books about Islam, about Muhammad, about Sharia even. If ma'rifah is only knowledge in brain, in aql, then many of non-Muslims know better than us. So ma'rifah is not this. It's about understanding Allah through aql and come down to our heart. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض اختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب. Who is the people of brain? أصحاب اللب. Albab is for the word lub, aql. الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم. The first, Allah underlined the importance of spiritual understanding by dhikr, remembrance of Allah. Because if we don't have ma'rifat in our heart, we cannot remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ, then come to the fikr. So the two sides of knowledge, aql and qalb, our brain and our heart cannot be separated in Islam. Because if we are just smart in our aql, we are just pretending to be smart. But basically we are not smart. This is the first one, brothers and sisters, ma'rifatullah. The second one is ma'rifatun nafs. It is about understanding the reality of ourselves. Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbahu. The one who does understand himself, who knows himself, ma'rifa, arafa nafsahu, he knows Allah. Or vice versa. Knows Allah the way to know ourselves. Because nasullaha fa'ansahum anfusahum. When the people forget Allah, Allah make them forgetting themselves. When they are ignorant of Allah, they are going to be ignorant of themselves. So these two sides cannot be separated. By understanding, by knowing, by having the ma'rifat of Allah, we are going to have ma'rifatul nafs. We are going to understand who we are as human beings. And one of the most important, brothers and sisters, why we have to know ourselves as human beings, ma'rifatul nafs, because we want to understand who we are and what are our responsibilities here in this life. Many people act out of responsibility or irresponsibly because they don't know themselves. They don't know that they are the most noble creation of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us with such a noble, not only in the way that He created us in the noble way, but for noble purpose. And what is the noble purpose? To serve. Service. And service in Arabic is ibadah. Ibadah, up and around. Hablum min Allah wa hablun min an-nas. That's what is the importance of ma'rifatul nafs, so that we understand our responsibility. Many people live their lives irresponsibly because they forget themselves. Nasullah fa'ansahum anfusahum. And it's not my words, but that's what the Quran says. Ulaika kal an'ami bal hum adall. They're just like animals, even worse than animals. How many people act even worse than animals? Have you seen a cat delivering babies? Don't try to come closer to the mother, to the babies. The mother will attack you. While we find humans delivering the baby, they put the babies in the trash, in the garbage. Ulaika kal an'am bal hum adall. Why it is happening? Because they forget themselves as humans. Ahsan taqweem, the best creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third one, brothers and sisters, is ma'rifatul haya, understanding about life. This is very essential. Because only by having ma'rifatul haya, we are going to know where we came from, why we are here, and where we are going. It is pity, very, very sad that we see people are walking around with necktie, looks very educated, but they don't know really where they are going. They don't understand. They're just walking and walking and walking just in the middle of the jungle. They don't know where the purpose is going. Because they do not understand the purpose. You know, brothers and sisters, if this life is that, only this life, this dunya, is so cheap. Just recently, the queens of the British queens just died. You can imagine 96 years. She had become a queen when she was only 24, 25 years old. How popular she was, how respected she was, how rich she was. The question now for our young brothers, this question is, so what? So what? If the people don't understand the purpose of life, that's what it is. You live your life for 70 years, 80 years, 100 years, and then what? If we don't understand where we are going. So ma'rifatul haya is essential, brothers and sisters, so that we can really walk the walk in this life. We can walk and walk, and we know where we are going. Why people are so weak sometimes in life? Very easily angry, very easily frustrated, because they don't know where to go. Some years ago, there is a research says, that among the happiest people on this planet are Bengali people, Bangladeshi people. And if you see back home, brothers, with rickshaw, with those who are, with most floods happens. But why Bengali people are so happy? Because they understand where they are going. They understand the purpose of life. Yes, I don't have money right now. Yes, I'm painful right now. Yes, I'm poor. I'm humiliated by others in this life at the moment, but I know where to go. If I don't find what I want here in this life, inshallah, lakum fiha ma tashtahi anfusukum wa lakum fiha ma tad'un. If you don't have it here, you're going to have it there. And that's what makes us optimistic, hopeful, and strong in facing the challenges of life. So brothers and sisters, this ma'rifat is our responsibility to tell the people around us. And that's why da'wah is essential. Because of the time, I just wanted to go directly to why da'wah is so important. This ummah is known or characterized by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, at least two I would like to mention. Number one is the best ummah, khair ummah. Kuntum khaira ummatin ukhrijat linnas ila akhir al-ayah. And number two, ummatan wasatan. Wa kadhalika ja'alnakum ummatan wasata. Now, what is the meaning of khair ummah and what is the meaning of ummatan wasatan? There are at least 7 characteristics, but I'd like to mention only one. Among the meaning of khairiyat, khair ummah, that this ummah must be the ummah of role model, qudwa, example. Wasatiyah also, among the meaning of wasatan, wasatiyah in Arabic, in the language of the Holy Quran, is al-qudwa, al-uswa. It means as a role model. Now, what is the relevance, what is the connection, the relations between da'wah and being a role model? Because da'wah, brothers and sisters, is not only standing on the pulpit, shouting to the people, giving fiery speech. No, da'wah is not only that. Da'wah has some elements, and I would like to mention briefly 7 out of those many, how to make da'wah in the path of Allah. But let me just remind myself and all of us, by the passing of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as Rasulullah sallallahu had died, the responsibility of da'wah on each one of us shoulder, no matter who you are. There were some working on the street, on groceries, on stores, or driving cars, or pharmacies, or doctors. Every one of the Muslims who follow Muhammad, who claim to be the followers of Muhammad, must be a da'i in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Da'wah is a process of saying, I am a Muslim. If I am a Muslim means I have to call the people to Al-Islam. قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا, Prophet Muhammad was commanded by Allah to declare, أَنَا, me, Prophet Muhammad said, وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِ, and whoever follows me. So every one of the followers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam must be aware that he or she is a da'i in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the big question is how to be a da'i. There are 5 things or 6 things or 7 at least I have to mention. Number 1, certainly faith, iman. What is iman, brothers and sisters? In the context of da'wah, iman, faith means that we have to have a self-confidence in the truth that we believe in. Because there are many Muslims who claim to be believers, but they don't have self-confidence in Islam. They are scared to be known as Muslims. They are shy to be known as Muslims. How many people basically change their names after 9/11? Brothers, we need to be self-confident and let the people know that I am a Muhammad, I am Umar, I am Ali. But more important, I am a Muslim, look at me. And we have that self-confidence to show ourselves to others. The reason why Muslims are shy to show themselves to be known as Muslims, because we don't represent Al-Islam. We don't represent it. So we are shy sometimes to show it. Look at me, I'm a Muslim. If we just represent Islam, we are going to have a self-confidence that let everybody around us seeing us, and they are going to fall in love because Islam is beauty. And when we have Al-Islam in our life, people are going to fall in love, brothers and sisters, with Islam, with us and with Al-Islam, inshallah. This is number 1, to make story short, self-confidence, iman, faith. Number 2, brothers and sisters, we cannot make da'wah in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with only our feelings, emotion. We say, oh, I'm a Muslim and we feel it. It's not such as feelings. Yes, there is a sentiment in faith. You know, we have to feel it. In our salat, we have to feel it. What does it mean to be Muslims? What does it mean to be Musalli? But feelings and sentiment, emotion is not sufficient in making da'wah. We have to have knowledge. We have to have knowledge. Why? Because da'wah means transferring information. And if you don't have information about Islam, what type of information are you going to give to the people? And therefore Rasulullah sallam from the very beginning he said, Talabul ilmi fariyadatun ala kulli muslimin wa muslimatin. Seeking knowledge is obligatory, is fard on every single Muslim, male and female. From the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you can imagine how Abu Hurairah, who was very young, narrated a hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Aisha was very young, but she is the 3rd largest narrator's hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Aisha radiallahu anha. Because of knowledge, and Islam is all about knowledge. Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fi din. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does want to give some goodness to someone, He make him understand in the deen. Yarfa'illahu alladhina amanu minkum walladhina utul ilma darajat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise the darajat, the degree for those who believe and seek knowledge in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the second one, brothers and sisters, we have to seek knowledge. And that's why even you feel sometimes, oh, I'm already elderly, you know, now my age is already 50, 60, 70. There's no such limit in learning al-Islam. And particularly these days, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened in front of us those opportunities. You go to YouTube, mashallah, you have Nu'man, you have Sheikh Qadi, everybody's there. You can learn from them. Or you have a teacher that you trust, follow that teacher and learn from him. But we cannot just say, I'm a da'i, but I don't know what Islam. So many Muslims, when they discuss Islam on the street, they say, oh, maybe. We say maybe, it means you're not sure. The people began to not sure about Islam. So brothers and sisters, number 2. Number 3 is al-Qudwa itself, coming back again. It is about being role model. And this is what we are really in crisis at the moment. Muslims are challenged to prove to our non-Muslim friends around us that the beauty of Islam can be seen on our faces, on our tongue, on our thinking, on our action, on our innovations, can be seen in everywhere. When the people are seeing us walking, they can see, oh, this is the way Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to walk. When they see us talking, they will think, oh, that is the way Islam talks. When they see us eating, they'll say, oh, this is the way Islam teaches how to eat. Because we represent the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, become the role model. Brothers and sisters, we are competing with the media around us, with CNN, with Fox News, with NBC, with CBS, with everyone. But let me just tell you, if just not everyone, just the majority of Muslims in America can represent the beauty of Islam, we are more effective in changing the mindset of the people about Islam. We can change them. Because they see us as a living being. So if they face us, say, which one you want to trust, the TV or me? If you want to trust the TV, okay, follow CNN. But if you want to trust me, look at me. I represent the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show us the guidance all the time. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله فاستغفروه لعلها ساعة إجابة. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله لا نبي بعده صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. And at the end, brothers and sisters, also about istiqamat. It is about continuity. Making da'wah in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala face 2 possibilities. Either it's being challenged or you are falling into temptations. In America, there are temptations. When you don't have that much money yet, mashallah, you're focusing on Islam. And the moment Allah tests you with money, you forget the trust that you have on shoulder from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So temptations. But at the same time, we are deeply challenged in a way we present al-Islam to the society. And particularly these days, because of the openness of media, and media mostly are not friendly to us, it is really challenging how to compete with them. And so we must continue no matter what. That's what al-istiqamah. In al-Islam, brothers and sisters, istiqamat is the backbone of success. We cannot succeed anything without istiqamat. Even iman itself, it requires istiqamat. A man came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, qul fil islami qawlan la as'alu anhu ghayrak. O Prophet of Allah, tell me something in Islam that I don't have to ask from anybody else, just from you. Rasulullah say, qul amantu thumma istaqim. Say, I believe and have istiqamat. Even iman, salat, brothers, it needs continuity. Salat is not only here in the masjid. فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةِ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَابْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كثيرا. Now why you are coming here? يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله. You are coming here for ذكر الله. But the moment you left the masjid, you have ذكر الله there. That is the istiqamat of salat. You are not sitting here remembering Allah, and the moment you go to the masjid, to the market, you forget Allah. That is not istiqamat in the salat. So everything in Islam has a continuity. Da'wah needs a continuity, brothers and sisters. At the end, brothers and sisters, da'wah requires love, rahmah. Be merciful, be compassionate. You know, when you see our friends out there are drunk, walking on the street, you can smell the smell of marijuana nowadays very easily, wherever you go. Have compassion. What if that happened to you? What if that happened to your kids? Have you ever imagined if that happened to us or to our kids? That those kids are sitting on the street, smoking, or using drug and all stuff. With all those bad stuff on the street, have some compassion. And compassion here means we have come as a salvation, as a safety. We want to save humanity. There's a trust on our shoulder. Finally, brothers and sisters, the importance of dua. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he went to Ta'if, you can imagine how the people stoned him, and his feet were bleeding. But despite of all this, he had compassion. He raised his hand to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and among the dua he said, Allahumma hdi qawmi fa innahum la ya'lamun. Oh Allah, guide my people because they are ignorant. They don't know. They don't know. They don't have any knowledge. And that is our responsibility to make them know. But at the end, it is also very important to have optimism and hope. Because the challenge we are facing is not easy. But believe me, brothers and sisters, these humans called Muslims, we can be humiliated, we can be tortured, we can be jailed, whatever. But Islam will never be stopped. It's the promise of Allah in the Holy Quran. Allah inna nasrallahi qareeb. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu ansar Allah. Kama qala Isa ibn Maryam al-hawariyina man ansari ila Allah. قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله فآمن الطائفة من بني إسرائيل وكفر الطائفة. At the end of the day, people will divide. But be hopeful. فأيدنا الذين آمنوا على عدوهم فأصبحوا ظاهرين. Allah will give nusrat, ta'weed, strength to the believers, and they are going to be victorious. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. Allahumma ya rabbal alameen, Allahumma laka hamdak, laka shukru kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika al-karim wa 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma ahdina wahdi bina waj'alna sababan liman ihtada. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabah. Ya muqallib al-qulub thabbit qulubana ala dinik wa ya musarrif al-qulub sarrif qulubana li ta'atik. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah innaka antal wahhab. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتوب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة.